What up guys, I'm Rob and welcome back to another video. I'm sitting here in my kitchen on a lovely afternoon in New York City, sipping coffee out of a black coffee mug from CB2 like a total fucking douchebag. Anyway, in this video, I want to touch on body recomposition because it's one of those things that's thrown around a lot in fitness. It's kind of an overused term, and I believe a lot of times it's really misleading, as it's usually thrown around by people that are trying to sell things to people, which is okay. I'm a total capitalist, totally for it. But it's not okay to be misleading. Not everyone qualifies for a body recomposition, especially in the time frame that a lot of people promise you can achieve it in. So in this video, I want to talk about what a body recomposition actually is, whether or not you qualify for one, and also who doesn't qualify for one at all. If you guys have absolutely no clue who I am, I've been in fitness for forever. I worked as a fitness model for 10 plus years. I competed at the Arnold Classic. I've helped transform well over 100 clients now, and this is just a lifestyle that I've lived for way more than 15 years. So I like to think I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So if I can help and add value, watch to the end and you can let me know in the comments below. So, body recomposition. What exactly does that mean? That's essentially taking somebody's body and bringing it from something like this to something like this in a specific amount of time. Not everybody qualifies for that, and I'm going to delve into why not just anybody can do that, because there are certain parameters that you need to fall in to be able to be one of those people that can do that. So let's start by Googling how long a typical body recomposition takes. And this is what Google has given me. I'm going to read this to you real quick. It takes around 8 to 12 weeks. Luckily, body recomposition doesn't take anything too complicated. The main thing is sticking to a high protein diet and consistent strength training. Maintain this training and nutrition program consistently, and in about 8 to 12 weeks, you can start seeing a body transformation happen before your very eyes. It's like a fucking infomercial. If only it were that easy. Here's the truth. In some cases, that can be accurate, but in a lot of cases it isn't. So there's a few people that fall into a category where this is accurate. Let's go over those people. The first category of people are total newbies. These are people that have absolutely no experience in the gym. They've never really had any sort of a strength training regimen. They've never put in effort to track their calories, to get in their protein on a daily basis, to sleep 8 hours, to do all the typical fitness people things that we do to achieve better bodies, look and feel better about ourselves. These people are actually in the very best position to achieve a body recomp over not that long of a period of time. Will you see results in 12 weeks? Definitely, but like to really max out your results, you need like 8 months to a year. So these complete newbies have never had any sort of gym stimulus. So their muscles have no idea what to do but to grow, but to develop. They're just reacting to this increase in resistance and stress that they're placing on it through weight training. And this is one of the very few situations where people can actually reduce fat and gain muscle at the same exact time. Outside of this category, there's really only 2 other situations where it can happen. And one of them is if you fall into this 0.01% of genetics, which I certainly don't fall into. And we'll just assume that you don't either, just for the sake of this video. And the other scenario is when people just happen to be on a bunch of drugs. And I'm also going to assume that that's not you, and it's definitely not me. Let's consider us all to be mere mortals and roll on with this thing. Total newbies have the best chance of totally transforming their physique to the point that you might not even recognize them in a pretty short amount of time. Let's call it 8 to 12 months, even though you'll see results before that. The second category of person that can definitely achieve an impressive body recomposition is somebody that happens to be overweight. Like let's take somebody that is 250 pounds but really should be around 180. If this person starts a strength training regimen, gets into a calorie deficit, follows the protocol, puts effort in the gym, is consistent, tracks his macros, gets his protein in, this person, as he loses body fat, can also put muscle on at the same exact time and create this synergy between both and achieve a pretty impressive body recomp over the course of 6 to 12 months. This can absolutely happen. I've had clients that I've done this with, actually quite a few of them. The third situation where this is achievable is when somebody has had a significant layoff from their training. So let's just say this person has been training for 5+ years. He's been on a pretty strict regimen. He's been getting his strength training in. He's been consistent. He's been tracking his macros. He's been getting his protein in. He's been getting his sleep in. And he's developed a pretty solid foundation. And all of a sudden, he completely stops. All of a sudden, he hasn't trained for whatever reason. He had a kid. He got sick. He had an injury of some sort. And he had a year or two layoff. And all of a sudden, he kind of shrunk back to the person that he used to be. In this particular situation, you can also achieve a really significant body recomp. The difference here is that this person is working with muscle memory. So this person can actually get back to where he was in probably a much shorter amount of time than even a complete newbie can develop his foundation in the first place. Outside of these three scenarios, number one, newbie lifter. Number two, someone that's really overweight. Or number three, someone that's had a layoff. There's really no other situation where you can actually qualify to achieve an impressive body recomp over at least a semi-decent amount of time. You have to remember, when you're somebody that's been training for a very long time, let's call it over 2 years or more, it's just much more difficult to make changes as quickly as you did when you started. You get hit with all the diminishing returns that comes with training for a bunch of years. Here's an example of someone that cannot achieve a successful body recomp. It would be me. Let's take, for example, for a minute, you're Rob. You've been training for 15+ years pretty damn consistently, tracking your protein, getting your calories in, doing everything right, getting your sleep in. I'm not going to be able to go from 185 pounds and 9% body fat, which is what I am now, to 191 pounds and 6% body fat in the next 8 to 12 weeks. Anybody that promises you that is totally full of shit, or when you're not looking, they're going to dart you with trend in your ass when you're least expecting it. Outside of that, it's just not a realistic transformation. Now, for the record, I have achieved a body recomposition before. There was one layoff that I had of about 1.5 years between when I was 30 years old and 31.5. And I'm going to put it up on the screen right here. During this particular period, I completely stopped working out and totally shrunk down to who I was before I started lifting, which is typically a very average, slender, narrow-boned guy that weighed about 170 pounds. And it only took me about 3 months, if that, to get myself back to 185 pounds and probably around 10% body fat. So it happened very, very quickly with the same tactics that I always followed. It's just back to the basics. Train with intensity, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, get your sleep in, and repeat. This is all you do. This is what it is. I don't care how scientific they make it seem. So I hope all of this makes a little bit more sense now. Again, it's not super complicated, but I just feel that if you're looking for a body recomp, you need to know whether or not you're in the position to actually be able to achieve that so you don't waste your time. Just a quick announcement here. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I am going to be giving away a gift from me to you when I get there in the form of a 16-week total transformation. You just have to qualify for that transformation, as you have to fall into one of the 3 categories that we discussed throughout this video. If you are, and if you're interested in this, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, go down in the link in the description below, follow me on Instagram, send me a DM, let me know that you're interested, and as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, I'm going to be taking on 1 qualified person for a free 16-week transformation, all on me, just as a sign of gratitude for the follows and support. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you got any value out of it at all, consider giving it a like, share the video if you want, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.